This is the Lincoln Navigator, all new for 2018. It's based upon the all-new Ford Expedition, which of course is based upon the current generation of F-150. Now, I have been very, very excited to drive this car this week because not only is this the first Lincoln SUV I've driven, it's their all-new flagship, and it's also the first vehicle I've ever reviewed that costs over $100,000. So the question is, can this all-new Lincoln flagship live up to that price tag? That answer is coming up here on The Drive Guide. So the Navigator comes with a 3.5 litre twin turbocharged V6, and this engine produces 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. And this is also pretty much the exact same engine that comes in the Ford Raptor. And in this car, it's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. That's the same transmission that's in the new Mustang, and it's the gearbox that was developed alongside GM. At first I was thinking that with 10 gears it's going to have an issue finding which gear it should be in, but I have not encountered any such issue with my time with it so far. Here in Canada it only comes in 4-wheel drive. In America you can get it with 2-wheel drive, oddly, but I highly doubt many people are going to buy their Lincoln Navigator with only 2-wheel drive capability. At $102,000, this Lincoln Navigator isn't even the most expensive model. We're in the Reserve, which is top of the line in Canada right now. In America, you guys get the black label. I'm not sure when that will be coming to Canada, but I know Lincoln should be getting onto it pretty quickly. You can actually get a longer Navigator as well, the Navigator L. That adds around 11 inches to the overall length of it. But really, there hasn't been a single moment in this car where I thought to myself, you know, this thing really is quite short. On the topic of driving, one of my favorite things about this Lincoln is the different drive modes that come with the car. So you use this dial down here and you would rotate to go to the desired setting that you want. The best part about them is the graphics that come up as you switch from normal to their eco mode and then their sport mode. But here's the best thing. They don't call it eco and sport, they call it conserve and then excite. Because so many cars tell you it's a sport mode or an eco mode, and that's just so unoriginal. I really love that simple piece of thought there. You can actually tell a pretty good difference between the normal mode, the conserve mode, and the excite mode. So with conserve, the biggest thing you're going to notice is that the pedal, the throttle pedal, is going to be a little less responsive. And then in excite mode, really the most important thing is that you can hear that 3.5 litre V6 with a lot more clarity. It gets significantly louder. You do have other modes as well. So here we have normal 4x4 auto, a slippery mode, deep conditions, and slow climb. One of the confounding things though is whenever you get into this car and you set a driving mode, whatever it is you leave it in, it always reverts back to normal. And here's the problem with that. To get to my house, I have to go up a fairly steep hill, and when I go through it on a day like today where it's just had a big dump of snow, I'll put the car into its deep conditions mode, so it will get me to my house easily. But then as soon as I park up, turn off the car, then go back to my car to drive off to wherever I need to go, the mode reverts back to normal. So I have to go through the process of getting it into the right mode. Yeah, it's a nitpick. It takes like 3 seconds to fix, but I think that would be a good feature to keep in place for this software. So after just being in Vancouver, I got out of that Nissan Armada, then got on the plane, then got right into this Lincoln. And they're in the same sort of category. They're both 3-row, 3-ton body-on-frame SUVs. Now this Lincoln is roughly around the same size and weight, but it doesn't feel that sort of lethargic. It doesn't feel that difficult to maneuver. And there's two very big contributing factors to this. One is that the steering in this car feels as though it has some sort of relationship with the front wheels, and that is something that the Nissan definitely didn't. It has a nice weight to it here, and it's also a variable steering rack, so if you're navigating through if you're going through a small parking lot, the lock-to-lock ratio will get shorter, so that makes it easier to move around tight spaces. And it always feels the same sort of weighting as well. I do really like the steering in this car. Although there is no feel from the wheels, it does have a nice heft to it. The second difference is the body roll. So in this car, you could take any corner you really wanted to with a little bit of enthusiasm, and you wouldn't suffer too much body roll. You would really have to go into a corner like an idiot to try and make this car lean onto one side. But in that Nissan, it felt like you were about to roll over at any speed, at any corner. It wasn't very confidence inspiring, let's just say that. But let's talk about the interior of this Lincoln. It comes with a huge 10-inch touchscreen here that actually works really, really well. It has Apple CarPlay on Android Auto set with it because it is based upon the Sync 3 system. You have lane keep assist, 360-degree camera, self-parking feature, auto stop start, parking sensors, a 20-speaker Revel audio system here, and there's a lot more features besides. The digital display here I really like. And then when it comes to the materials in this car, it's good in places and it's not so great in others. So where it is good is for these 30-way adjustable seats. These are absolutely brilliant things to sit in. It's very rare for someone like me to get into a seat that I am comfortable in, and with this I can put the leg bolsters as far out as I can, put the lumbar support as far into the seat as I can, so I can properly stretch out my legs. They're heated, cooled, and the front seats can be massaged as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And because you have 3 presets here, you can have different profiles for different drivers. If you're the same height as me, 6'4", and you set this front seat exactly how you'd like it, you will still have plenty of space in the seat behind you too. The wood grain here is actually really nice too. You can see it is cut from one piece of wood as the grain continues through the compartments here where you keep your cup holder and the wireless phone charging pad. But then there are places where it's not so great. This black plastic I'm really not a fan of. The leather doesn't continue up onto the dashboard, and if you search for them you can definitely find some harder plastics, but I am happy to report that on the seat backs here they are soft to the touch. Down here at the very bottom of the door cards they're soft touch as well. So the quality is better than the Continental I had a few months ago, but this thing is still no Rolls Royce, that's for certain. There's still a few things in this Lincoln Navigator that I think would be questionable in many other vehicles that cost $100,000. For one, there's quite a lot of vibration from the drivetrain. I can feel it coming through on the center console, and when you pull up at a set of lights, if the automatic stop-start hasn't activated, you can feel that engine vibrate a little. So it doesn't have that sense of isolation that many other luxury vehicles would have as well. I do love how much space you have to put things in this car. So the center console, it is massive here as well as in the second row. This whole control panel is actually open to put a whole bunch of stuff underneath it as well. You could really easily lose quite a few valuable possessions in this car. We do have the rear seat entertainment as well, so if you have the Lincoln Play app on your phone, you can stream media from your phone to those displays, but additionally you do have a DVD player up here as well, and then if you plugged in a USB you could play movies on it through that means as well. When it comes to the exterior design of this car, I think it looks brilliant. When you look at it from the side, If you take a little time and use a bit of your imagination, you could see a little bit of Range Rover Velar in the design. Think of it as maybe if the Velar ate way too much and gained a third row in the process. I can see some links between this and that car. And the front end, it's bold and stately, but I wouldn't go so far to say it's aggressive. The back end's probably the weakest part of the car in my opinion. There's just not too much happening back there. Just a light bar across the electric tailgate. Again, on the topic of isolation, if you're going down the highway, the biggest thing you are going to notice is wind noise. This is a big vehicle and it's not the most aerodynamic thing ever made. You get the sense that this thing charges into the air rather than through it. But the ride quality is nicely handled, even with these 22-inch rims that we have. After spending a week with the Lincoln, it has thoroughly impressed me. I've really enjoyed my time with it. It's a solid and refined product. It might not be the last word in luxury, so I don't think the Bentley Bentayga has much to worry about. But for competitors like the Mercedes GLS, the Infiniti QX80, and perhaps its biggest rival, the Cadillac Escalade, they really do have to worry when this car starts hitting the dealerships. In my time reviewing cars, there's only been about 2 or 3 that I have regretted giving the keys back. I wish I could just keep it for just another day. And this car absolutely makes the list. So, in my mind, that makes it worth the $100,000 price tag. So that's everything from me. Thank you so much for watching this review here on The Drive Guide. I hope to see you again.